Hello and welcome to today's episode of FD Capital's podcast. I'm Adrian Lawrence, your host today, and we're talking about LinkedIn and how it can be very helpful for you to develop your portfolio finance director or portfolio CFO opportunities. Now, LinkedIn really has developed considerably over recent years, and it's become the choice social media platform for professional people in all disciplines. It's not difficult to see why it's superior to something like Facebook or Twitter, which is much more widely targeted. LinkedIn is effectively a repository of people's CVs. And what's great is at some point senior finance people and senior people in industry are going to consider the opportunity of recruiting a finance director, and increasingly some of those are looking at part-time finance director opportunities. So the approach to build your network really is to spend a little bit of time each day adding contacts, either for fellow CFOs or finance directors, or businesses that match your target criteria. When I say target criteria, I mean, for example, private equity houses or venture capitalists. It's very much a numbers game. You're not going to get any real traction if you've got less than 500 connections. I've got around 2,500, and I add a few more each day. And a good tip is to spend a couple of minutes each morning before you go to work or before you go to bed, and just find 2 or 3 good connections and just make that link. And you'll be surprised, but over time, those opportunities and those people that you have connections with can turn into interesting opportunities which lead to work. You'll be amazed at the number of people I've connected with 1, 2 or 3 years ago, and they've popped up and asked if I'm available to do portfolio work or if I can refer somebody to them. So it definitely works, but you don't get anywhere with it until you're sort of past 1,000 targeted contacts. So it's such a good opportunity, so it's such a good way to find opportunities, but you need to invest some time each day in developing that. If you're looking for portfolio or CFOs, then please consider our business, which is fdcapital.co.uk. We're a specialist niche provider of FDs and CFOs based in Great Portland Street in London. And we also have an office in the Shropshire area, which services the West Midlands. So if you're an SME or an established business or a PE house or a venture capitalist or somebody backed by those looking for a CFO or looking for an FD, please reach out to us. And if you're a candidate, then we have our own network of, we're made up of finance directors who sort of make that our network. But from time to time, we have roles come in which can't be serviced by our existing network because everybody's working or it's the wrong location or the wrong skill set. So we advertise roles. And it's always worth visiting our website, which is www.fdcapital.co.uk, and looking in our jobs board section. Or keep an eye on LinkedIn as we market our roles on there, or really just give us a call and get on our mailing list. That's often the easiest way. And once we get to know people, then we better understand the opportunities that they might match to. So it's always worth applying if you see one of our roles running on LinkedIn, which is probably the obvious places, but this podcast is about LinkedIn. So yeah, it's a really interesting time at the moment. The lockdown is coming to an end. Tomorrow, the 12th of April, the shops are open. And we are seeing a big improvement in the number of inquiries coming in. We were really busy in 2020, but it tailed off with this last lockdown, and the period November to March was very, very quiet. But we're now seeing, in fact, we're seeing more inquiries from the end of March through to the 11th of April than we had in the whole of that lockdown period. So things are returning to normal. We've still got less opportunities than we had pre this pandemic, but nevertheless, it's a much more positive place out there. So thank you for listening, and a reminder, our website can be found at www.fdcapital.co.uk, and all the best, and look forward to hearing from you, and thanks for listening.